This is CBC Here and Now.
Well, hopefully you've enjoyed these warm temperatures because things are about to change.
If you buy fuel for your vehicle or use oil to heat your home, chances are the consequences of a crippled oil refinery, income by chance, could soon be hitting you in the pocketbook.
Good evening and welcome to Here and Now. I'm Jeremy Eaton.
And I'm Carolyn Stokes.
A rescue team is resuming the search for Jordan Natterer. Officials called off the effort 5 days ago, but after pleas from the family and apparent new evidence, police are sending up a drone to research specific areas. Natterer went missing Thanksgiving weekend while hiking alone in British Columbia. The authorities searched extensively for days, but called it off when they couldn't find him. Jordan's parents say that they found clues in areas that weren't searched as thoroughly. So they've flown to British Columbia from St. John's to keep looking for their son. And with temperatures dropping, they say more than just one single drone is needed. Even the Prime Minister has been asked to help. At a virtual town hall hosted by Memorial University last night, Trudeau was asked if he could sway the search effort.
I will look into this. I will see what the decisions have been made, and there's limited leverage I have even as Prime Minister over a local issue and a local search like that. But I can certainly ask about it and try and see if there isn't something that I can nudge a little bit.
Now, Trudeau commiserated with the family, sharing his own experience with search and rescue in British Columbia. So we're going to have that for you later on Here and Now. But back to the town hall, because that was only one of 15 questions. It was an hour-long event for Trudeau to connect with the Memorial University community to talk about the pandemic and post-secondary education. But as Heather Gillis reports, the event covered much more than COVID.
The coming months, but over the coming years and even decades.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says people will feel the effects of the pandemic for a long time to come. His virtual conversation with about 20 students, faculty and staff at MUN last night centered around a changing world. He also defended hundreds of billions in federal spending over the course of COVID.
You would have a level of economic destruction of our society that would leave us much, much worse off.
He also addressed balancing the economy and environment with oil and gas.
We don't get to net zero by 2050 unless the oil and gas sector is part of that transformation. We don't get there without Alberta and Saskatchewan and Newfoundland and Labrador.
Questions were chosen at random and spanned across topics. Trudeau addressed racism in Canada, something he says has been increasing, along with online hate, which is why he's urging people to speak up in the face of intolerance.
What happens on the internet no longer just stays on the internet, and it now leads to radicalization, to violence. It leads to horrific real-world actions.
And on truth and reconciliation with Indigenous groups, Trudeau addressed the Marshall decision and the Nova Scotia fishery dispute involving Mi'kmaq, who launched a moderate livelihood lobster fishery last month.
Mi'kmaq have rights that we need to recognize. We haven't yet been able to fully articulate those rights into policies that fit and that don't clash against non-Indigenous peoples in sort of a zero-sum game. We need to change that.
The conversation also covered what comes next in a post-pandemic world. Trudeau says there needs to be more innovation, better technological advancement in the natural resources sector, and better broadband for people in rural areas of the country. He also played to his audience and said for international students who want to enter Canada to study, there could be good news coming. Heather Gillis, CBC News, St. John's.
It's the big question for Newfoundland and Labrador voters. Will there be a provincial election called this fall or not? The new Premier edged a little closer to saying it won't happen. Now, Premier Furey was sworn in as an MHA today, and he spoke with reporters following his first question period in the House of Assembly. Here Now's Mark Quinn was there.
In June, Liberal leadership candidate Andrew Furey was unequivocal, saying, "I will not call a snap election this fall." Today, he was sworn in as an MHA at Government House and took his seat in the House for the first time. This was his response to the election question in the House.
I've said publicly and will continue to state I intend to follow the letter of the law with respect to the legislation and election timing. It's the
Later, speaking with reporters, he came closer to saying he won't call a snap election this fall, but left the possibility that it might happen open.
It's a minority government. There could be other confident motions that come to play, but it's certainly not my intention to call an election this fall. I continue to say what I've always said, and will follow the letter of the law, which, by the way, is a conservative law that was introduced some time ago.
The NDP is pushing Fury to keep his earlier promise.
I will hold the Premier to his word that he will not hold an election before the end of this year.
The clock is running down if an election is to be called this fall. The Progressive Conservatives say doing so would be unacceptable.
All I can say is that any government that calls an election at this moment in time, with so many massive problems confronting us, including still the pandemic, is putting itself first and the people of the province second.
The Progressive Conservatives did introduce a motion calling for election in 2021. It passed, but it's not binding. Right now, legislation requires the government to hold a provincial election before August 2021. Mark Quinn, CBC News, St. John's.
Last night we told you that a Labrador MHA came under fire for comments made about homeless people in Happy Valley Goose Bay. Perry Trimper says he regrets saying homeless people choose a lifestyle that puts them at risk. This isn't the first time Trimper's words have caused controversy. Last year, he apologized after a recording captured him saying some Indigenous people were playing the race card. Today, the Premier weighed in.
Well, he's apologized. He said that the words that he chose were not appropriate. He's discussed with his colleagues, and I think we'll leave it there for now. But I'm still reflecting on the deep impact that language has.
Can you confirm if he'll be a candidate in the next election?
Well, right now, I believe his nomination has been confirmed, but he's, I'm sure, reflecting upon it himself.
Well, the head of the province's economic recovery team has picked her players. Moya Green has chosen 11 people to sit as members on the Premier's team. Many of them are familiar faces, like engineer and entrepreneur Moya Cal, Fogo Island Inn creator Zita Cobb, Mi'kmaq leader Chief Mizel Joe. There's also former Labour leader Mary Shortall, former PUB chair David Vardy, and Munn Board of Regents chair Iris Petton. Other names may be less familiar. Gary Mooney is a former Jesuit priest and lawyer. Brendan Brothers is co-founder of Verafin. Oral Daw is a banker and investment CEO. Philip Earle is VP of Air Borealis in Labrador. And lastly, Richard Kostoff is a former deputy chair of TD Securities. Now, the group of 12 will review government expenditures and how services are delivered. All are volunteering their time but will be reimbursed for expenses. An interim report is expected in February and a final report in April. There's another new case of COVID-19 in this province, this time in the Central Health region. A man in his 20s or 30s who returned home from working in Alberta tested positive. Health officials say this case is not related to a previous case in the region. The man has been in self-isolation since arriving home. Contact tracing is underway, and anyone considered a close contact should quarantine. There are now 9 active cases of COVID-19 in the province.
What a day today, certainly here in the east. Temperatures reaching a high near 18 degrees in St. John's. These winds, though, are ramping up. And as we head into the night tonight and even into the first half of tomorrow, a ridge of high pressure is going to move in, which means these winds are finally going to die down. But with that, some cooler temperatures are going to move in, and those are going to stick with us for a couple of days. As we head towards the weekend, a little bit unsettled as well, but I will have all those details and your full forecast coming up.
Thanks, Ashley. Well, the whirlwind of developments with the oil refinery continued today. We have details on a request by the refinery owner to raise the price of fuels in this province. A prospective buyer is also starting to make some waves, and the provincial government is being put in a tough spot. Terry Roberts has been following this story for weeks and joins us now with the latest. So, Terry, what can you tell us about a possible price increase in fuels?
Yeah, well, Carolyn, that's something we have reported before. We've known that North Atlantic, that's the company behind me, that they've gone to the Public Utilities Board with an application to increase the regulated price of diesel fuel, gasoline, and home heating fuel. They've done that, and that's all we knew until today. I managed to get my hands on an October the 5th application sent to the utilities regulator by North Atlantic, in which they ask the Public Utilities Board to do an immediate increase of those three fuels, and also to do a comprehensive increase of those three, to do a comprehensive review to look at maybe further increases. So why is this? Well, we all know what happened back in March. The refinery stopped refining fuels. Hundreds of people got laid off out there. And so right now, prior to that, most of the fuel that you see that was delivered to gas stations here or to deliver to your home, it was refined in Come By Chance in Placentia Bay. Well, since that refinery has closed, right now 100% of the fuels coming into this province being delivered to customers is coming from outside the province. So North Atlantic is bringing it in from New York Harbor, from Europe. So what it's saying is that its costs, its business model has been turned on its head right now, because its shipping costs have gone way up. It's having to pay more to keep the financing costs, for example, to keep large inventories of fuel on hand, and it's also paying more for terminal fees, storage fees and those kind of things. So it wants an increase in the price. How much? That we don't know, because the application, that information, like a lot of things in the application, was redacted because of what they call commercial sensitivities. But I did hear from the Public Utilities Board today, and their North Atlantic's application is before the board, and there's no timeline on to when a decision might be made.
Okay, well, what's the latest on the company called Origin International? I understand that you've heard from them.
Yes, well, Origin International, it's become a new name around here in recent months. They're starting to make some waves now because they're very interested in taking over the refinery. Let me set this up. We all know the refinery closed in March. In May, we had what we thought was a positive development. Irving Oil and Silver Peak, the owners, reached a deal for Irving to purchase the refinery. Things seem to be looking good. Then at the beginning of October, just at the 11th hour before that deal was supposed to be finalized, it collapsed. We don't know what happened here with the deal, because there is a non-disclosure order. But Origin has been around from the beginning. They put in a bid earlier on. It was rejected in favor of Irving. So now Origin is back, and I got a statement from them today saying that they want to reopen the refinery in the second quarter of 2021. They want to bring back all the employees. We're talking nearly 500 direct jobs at the refinery, and they want to. They said they've got a strategy to operate the refinery that that respects the environment and also creates jobs. But there's another complication here. We all know that the refinery is now in what's called warm idle mode. So basically, it's just like having the pilot light left on in your furnace. But that's very expensive. So Silver Peak, that's the owner. They've gone to the provincial government saying, we need help. We need financial help to keep the lights on at the refinery. And also, Origin International told me today that's imperative. The refinery cannot be allowed to go into mothballs throughout the winter, because that would dramatically increase the price of restarting the refinery if it ever came to that. So now we have the situation where the provincial government, already dealing with a financial crisis, have this request on their hands. So what's the province going to do? Well, that we don't know. I reached out to Energy Minister Andrew Parsons today, and he said he'll make time to answer some of my questions tomorrow.
Thanks so much, Terry. That's Here and Now's Terry Roberts reporting live tonight. Well, striking workers at Dominion stores are waiting for a court decision today. Loblaw is seeking an injunction against the workers' action at the St. John's Distribution Centre.
One day longer! One day stronger! One day longer! One day stronger!
About 1,400 workers have been striking for 8 weeks now. Unifor has blocked the entrances to Loblaws warehouse and the distribution center in Donovan's Industrial Park. Employees on the picket line say part-time workers are getting full-time work, but not full-time pay or benefits. And those strikers say they're not backing down.
Well, myself, I'm a 30-year veteran with the company. Took me 16 years to get a full-time job. I was part-time for 16 years. And a lot of us here, we're just fed up being disrespected, taking away our full-time jobs. The people that are left behind, our jobs are just made so much harder. There's no support from the company.
The Nigerian community in St. John's held a vigil at City Hall last night to mourn those killed while protesting police violence back home. Dozens have been hurt in a shooting in Lagos. Some have even been killed.
When you abuse power, you begin to, act, out of rules and regulations. So these people with all of these powers in their hand started misusing it, and then they started harassing young, innocent Nigerian citizens. They started beating people up. They started killing people. They started raping people. And so, the very same people that was created to protect the Nigerians turned around and started, killing us.
People back home are traumatized. They're living in fear. They're demoralized. As I'm talking to you, the rest assured that someone is losing their father or their brother or their sister. It is that bad.
Outdoor classes aren't new, but they've certainly gotten more popular during the COVID pandemic. Yesterday, reporter Adam Walsh spent the morning with a grade 5 class in St. John's, led by a teacher who's long been a fan of bringing the lesson plan outdoors.
So that's what we call mild choking. When you hear, and you might be out with someone and you hear that.
Welcome to Mr. Tyrone Powers' outdoor first aid class. The students here are all in grade 5 at Mary Queen of Peace. There's a lot more of outdoor teaching and learning going on these days.
This morning we're actually coming from the school grounds, and one of our many outdoor learning spaces that have been further developed over the last several months here at the school.
Mr. Power is no stranger to outdoor teaching. He's been incorporating it into his lessons for years. But coming into this year, the pandemic played a factor.
It was almost that little bit of extra nudge and say, okay, now we can push forward on some of the things that many of us have been doing for a number of years. So it gave that little bit of oomph to a process that's really beneficial.
There's phys ed, science lessons, reading, all outside this fall. There are even math lessons. With winter coming, sure, it'll be more difficult, but that won't stop this teacher or his students from getting outside.
There's nothing like doing a weather report here in Newfoundland in the middle of January where you get up and it's 3 degrees Celsius and the kids are doing a weather report and all of a sudden there's snow coming down at them. So the opportunity, even during the winter as we push into that, there's that opportunity to get outside and get active.
It's also a great lesson for this teacher to be.
I think it's better to teach about the beauty of nature or to explore the world through sciences when you're out and about in it.
A glowing review from Mr. Snow. But what about the students? How do they feel about this?
It was really fun, and I can't wait to do more projects outside. I really like it. It's different than how I usually learn inside.
Awesome. Cool. Relaxing.
It was a great opportunity. It's awesome.
It was thrilling.
And that concludes today's outdoor class at Mary Queen of Peace.
Reporting from here and now, Mr. Powers' grade 5 class.
Well, they certainly had some wonderful weather for outdoor classes. That's all about to change. We're going to feel more like we're sitting at the end of October. I'll have all those details and your full forecast coming up.
the Newfoundland couple who retired to a life of isolation on Labrador's north coast. Jim and Gladys Roberts, our next archival special, Sunday at noon and Monday at 7.
This weather forecast is brought to you by Newfoundland and Labrador Tourism. Take the time to explore this fall. Learn more at stayhomeyear.ca.
Ashley is here now to look at the weather. And Ashley, I couldn't believe it this morning when I opened up the door to let the dogs out. It was so warm.
It was.
It just hit you in the face.
Yeah.
It was almost humid.
It was, yeah. It was a gorgeous morning. Saw plenty of sunshine at some points too, which was really lovely. So it obviously felt a little bit warmer. We did reach a high near 18 degrees. That is about 8 degrees above where we should be sitting this time of year. And not a record though. That record was about 20 degrees. So still a beautiful afternoon. Temperatures really across the board into those teens. 16 in Terra Nova, 15 in Badger, and then we've got those cooler temperatures up through Labrador. -1 was the afternoon high for Lab City. Now temperatures are dropping. We do have a cold front that's sweeping through, and you can see in behind that temperatures have dipped into those single digits. 6 degrees in Deer Lake right now, and then we've got temperatures around 10 degrees for Burgeo, 13 in St. John's right now as well. So here's a look at that cold front. The area of low pressure is offshore, but that's what's sweeping through. So those winds are shifting, and that's why we're seeing those cooler temperatures, and that will generally continue as we head through the night tonight. And then we've got an area of high pressure that's going to move in and clear things out. So this is what we're looking at tonight. Overall, pretty quiet night. Just the chance of some showers for the northern peninsula. Anywhere really along the northern areas. The northeast coast is where we could see the potential for some showers. Even some flurries possible again for the northern peninsula. And then those the periods of snow that are happening in Labrador will taper to flurries and then eventually see some clearing. And that's because a ridge of high pressure is building in behind that. And winds are going to stay breezy though overnight tonight. So there's that wind shift I was talking about. Northwesterlies 30 to 50 kilometers per hour in the east along the west coast. A little less, 20 to 40. But temperatures are going to feel very different. So back down into the 1 to 3 degree range as we head through the overnight tonight. -4 in Happy Valley, Goose Bay, -7 in Lab City. And your winds will ease overnight tonight as well, with that potential for a few flurries sticking around. So tomorrow, as that ridge of high pressure builds, things will, the winds will finally ease through the day. We're looking at the potential for some showers again along the northeast in the first half of the day, and then plenty of sunshine as we head into the afternoon. Up through Labrador, you're looking at clear skies as well for the most part. Then the next system moves in. This is going to bring some periods of snow for you in Lab City, and things are going to be a little bit messy as we head through the overnight into the first half of Saturday morning. So mix in some ice pellets and even over to rain as well. So a special weather statement is in effect for you. Over tomorrow afternoon, winds will ease, like I said, with that ridge of high pressure moving in, but temperatures very different than what we've been seeing. In fact, anywhere from 8 to 10 degrees cooler. We're looking at 6 to 8 degrees across the board, maybe a little bit cooler, about 5 degrees up through the northern peninsula, but again, plenty of sunshine on tap. And then for Labrador as well, you're looking at 2 to 3 degrees along the coast, and then -2 for Lab City. You'll see those periods of snow move in as we head into the evening hours, with the winds generally light through the day. As far as snowfall totals go, at this point, it's looking like we could see anywhere from 10 to as much as 15 centimeters, depending on when things change over to ice pellets mixing in as well, which will bring some of these accumulations either a little bit higher or a little bit less when we see that potential for that rain to move in as we head into the early morning hours. So that ridge of high pressure that's going to affect us tomorrow is going to move off, allow that area of low pressure to move in. So it's going to bring some periods of snow through northern portions of Labrador, some mixing through central and even along the coast as well. Quiet though through the day on Saturday, just some increasing cloud. And then if I zoom out a little bit, this is Hurricane Epsilon. So we are going to see some effects of this, nothing significant, likely just some rain. The strongest winds and heaviest rain will stay well south of Newfoundland as we head through the day on Sunday. But again, we will see a little bit of a jump in those temperatures as we see some of that warmer air move in again. Ridge of high pressure will move in behind that as well. Here's where we'll be sitting on Saturday, 11 to 13 degrees. This looks like this will be the best day of the weekend for sure. And up through Labrador again, those periods of snow moving in, Cartwright 7 degrees, 9 in Happy Valley Goose Bay, and then Lab City, you're going to sit around the 4-degree mark as we head through the day. Now into Sunday, that's when things become a little bit more unsettled because of that rain from Epsilon. We're looking at about 12 degrees for St. John's with the potential for a few peaks of sun in the mix as well. We'll probably see some increase in cloud. 8 degrees in Corner Brook, 2 in Happy Valley Goose Bay. Going to stay in this cold air for a little while, and then Lab City, you're sitting at -3 through the day as well. Once we get through those, the weekend temperatures into the double digits, then they drop again. So we're going back down to about 4 degrees by Monday. Temperatures won't really move much within, 3 or 4 degrees through the day into the overnight. Plenty of sunshine at this point on Monday, and then Tuesday things get a little bit unsettled. And those are where we should be, that's where we should be sitting at this time of year, 9-10 degrees as our daytime highs. For central Newfoundland, double digits again through the weekend, and then a significant dip. And this is when we're going to see the potential, even some snow making its way, at least some wet flurries making its way into the forecast as we head into Tuesday. Certainly for western Newfoundland, some shots of snow into the higher elevations, and again hovering around the mid-single digits through the day. Now for eastern Labrador, by Sunday, things start to get a little cooler in the overnights for you in eastern Labrador into the minus single digits. And then for Lab West, it's pretty much just going to be flurries from Sunday through to Tuesday. So speaking of a beautiful day today, this was the scene in Rotary Sunshine Park in Portugal Cove. Thank you to Colin for sharing that lovely photo with us. And if you have any weather photos to share with us, send them to nlphotos@cbc.ca.
Gorgeous. Thanks, Ashley. Well, an update for you now, a fundraising success from Little Bay. Just over a year ago, the fire department was trying to raise money for a fire truck. They were trying to replace the rickety 1983 Chevy pickup they were using, so volunteers started a game of Chase the Ace, and the fundraiser took off. Here now sent reporter Katie Breen into the community just outside Springdale. Here's a look back at what happened.
The old truck was swerving all over the place. The community applied to government for a new one. According to the mayor, the province told them they needed a bigger garage. So between free labor and other fundraisers, they built this. But the truck didn't follow.
It's heart-wrenching. Like to see those fire department members putting it all out there and we're not getting what they promised us. It's heart-wrenching.
So Little Bay turned to gambling to try and get a pumper.
To me, we're in dire straits. We need a rural response unit with water because we are towns with, well, we only got one hydrant. Beachside has a few. Coffee Cove has none. St. Patrick's has none. So we need a water in our truck.
Yes, there was a huge turnout. As you can see, only about 100 people actually live in Little Bay, but more than 10 times that number came out last September on the final night of Chase the Ace. Jamie Oxford ended up drawing the ace of spades with only 8 cards left, and he won nearly $50,000.
06946.
And now back to today. Last night, the fundraiser finally paid off for the fire department. They posted this video on Facebook yesterday. The community plans to show off its brand new fire truck next Saturday by driving it all around the communities it will service.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau held a virtual town hall meeting with Memorial University staff and students, and 15 questions were asked, but one of them stood out more than the other. And the person who asked that question is our guest, Justin Deering. Justin, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
So Justin, talk a little bit about what you asked the Prime Minister last night at the virtual town hall.
Yeah, I thought about what I was going to ask. I work in sustainability and climate, so naturally I was thinking, like, what question could I ask that would really create a buzz or create some kind of an impact? And as I started to think about that, it hit me about Dr. Greg Natterer and what their family was going through, and I thought, what if my question could somehow help that? And I wanted to ask it in a way that was respectful. I mean, Prime Minister Trudeau had lost his brother to something similar, so I wanted to ask something that was compassionate and respectful, and if possible, be helpful.
And I was preparing a question about climate change when a thought hit me that I couldn't shake, and I had to go with my gut.
I guess you're face-to-face virtually with the Prime Minister. Yeah. One might get a little bit nervous. Well, leading up to this last night, were you nervous about asking a question like that, Justin?
I was, just because I wanted to be sure that if it would be appropriate or not. But I just trusted my instinct and just wanted to ask a very real question.
Prime Minister, you may or not be aware, but one of our Memorial family, our Dean of Engineering and Applied Science, Dr. Greg Natterer, is in BC this very moment, combing the Manning Park area searching for his missing son, Jordan. As a father, personally, it's heart-wrenching to read Dr. Natterer's tweets, begging for local authorities to renew the search given new findings. And so I'm unable to shake the thought of what if my one question to you could help them. So Prime Minister, with deep compassion and humility, may I ask, is there any way you or your staff might be able to encourage additional support in the search for Jordan? Thank you.
I was really pleased with his answer and his response. I think he was as sincere and as real and genuine as I was in asking it. And I was very pleased to see his desire to contribute in whatever way he could.
No one can imagine what Greg is going through right now, and I know the entire community is thinking of him and supporting him as best they can as he searches for Jordan. I can't personally hear that story and not think about my little brother who was lost almost 25 years ago in beautiful mountains in BC.
So far, low clouds have kept anyone from getting into the area where 23-year-old Michel Trudeau drowned on Friday, swept into a glacial lake by an early winter avalanche.
The efforts that went into trying to find him and how I felt when the search was called off. I have no words except deep compassion and thoughtfulness, and I promise you, Justin, I will look into this. I will see what the decisions have been made, and there's limited leverage I have even as Prime Minister over a local issue and a local search like that. But I can certainly ask about it and try and see if there isn't something that I can nudge a little bit, because I know the heartbreak that the Natterer family and the entire community is going through right now.
I didn't actually find it too hard, just because I thought what could do the most good, and I wanted to try and help their family in whatever way I could. And I know that so many people, we feel so helpless when an issue or a problem feels so big, whether it's climate change, mental health, marine debris, or a family that's in need far away. And I just thought, what if I could do my part here? And one person taking that moment to make that choice, that I'm not just one small person that can't make a difference, I think it really did make a difference, or at least in some small way.
Have you ever met Dr. Natterer, his wife Josie, or either of his two children?
I don't believe that I have, although I'm sure Dr. Natterer and I have crossed paths in different work that I've done at the university. But I was very touched this morning to get a message from Josie, just saying how much she appreciates all the love and support that they're getting from Newfoundland, how much it's meant to them and what they're going through, and that they're very pleased to share that the local authorities are renewing search efforts. So I just feel incredibly touched to be some small helper in what they're dealing with.
Well, Well, in national news, travelers entering Canada through Alberta may soon have access to rapid testing for COVID-19. The mandatory quarantine period would still remain, but could be shortened if a traveler tests negative. Now, this is a trial project, but it could be rolled out across the country if it's successful. Alberta Premier Jason Kenney, who is in self-isolation himself right now, dialed into a press conference at the airport to explain how the plan will work.
Starting in early November, returning travelers entering Alberta from outside the country will be offered a chance to participate. They'll receive a COVID-19 test if they choose to. This is voluntary. Upon entry into Canada before proceeding into quarantine. Once their test comes back negative, they'll be allowed to leave quarantine provided they get another test between days 6 and 7. And the reason for that is the same reason I'm under isolation right now, which is that the virus can take some time to develop and become detectable.
Well, the trial project will be available to any Canadian citizen returning to the country through Alberta. Foreign essential workers, truckers, healthcare workers, and other workers who are exempt from the current federal travel ban are also eligible.
Welcome back to Here and Now. More students learning online due to COVID-19 has led to concerns about a rise in cheating. As the CBC's Deanna Sumanak-Johnson has discovered, some tools being used to solve that problem may also be adding stress to an already stressful experience.
In a year where computer screens replaced lecture halls, academia's old foe has found a way to thrive.
Academic misconduct has globally been on the rise since the pandemic began.
Many universities are turning to new virtual exam monitoring. E-proctoring software is designed to prevent students from cheating while taking exams at home. Some of them take over your computer, disabling you from opening any other tabs or apps. Many of them keep your webcam on your face, recording everything from your eye movement to what's in your background as potential flags for cheating.
Every institution is probably considered e-proctoring tools. I would say there's pros and cons to using these tools. At the University of Waterloo, we do have access to proctoring software. However, it's not our first choice.
Exam security. And among the reasons for that is the increase in students' anxiety as their every motion is being monitored.
I've heard of reports of students throwing up into waste paper bins because they were being surveilled by an e-proctoring technology that said if they left their desk, they would fail their exams. That's wrong.
And that stress might multiply for students of color, a demographic that's already disproportionately targeted by accusations of cheating, says this New York professor.
There needs to be a certain amount of light in order to recognize someone's face. And so if you have darker skin in those situations, you are at a disadvantage.
With all that in mind, some universities are trying to bypass traditional exams altogether.
There's a lot of research showcasing that take-home exams, projects, essays, papers, labs, open book exams, those are better for students. They're better at assessing students' knowledge.
Learning on the fly in a year where both students and universities are being tested. Deanna Sumanak-Johnson, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, to the United States now, where Donald Trump and Joe Biden go head-to-head again tonight for the second and final debate of the U.S. election campaign. It's taking place at Belmont University in Nashville, Tennessee, beginning at 10:30 Newfoundland time. 6 topics will be discussed during the hour-and-a-half debate, but this time, each candidate's microphone will be muted during his opponent's 2-minute opening statement on every issue. Now, this measure is intended to prevent the chaos that marked the first presidential debate last month. Amy Coney Barrett is one step closer to a seat on the U.S. Supreme Court.
The clerk will call the roll.
Republicans used their majority to approve Barrett's nomination today. This paves the way for a final confirmation vote in the full Republican-controlled Senate on Monday. Democrats boycotted today's committee proceedings. In their seats, instead, posters of Americans they say would be hurt if Obamacare is overturned. The U.S. Senate has never approved a Supreme Court nominee this close to a presidential election. Well, turning to Ontario now, Christine Jessup's father is speaking out nearly a week after police identified her killer. Last week, Toronto police said Calvin Hoover likely murdered the 9-year-old back in 1984. CBC has also heard from Hoover's ex-wife. Thomas Degla has this update.
The rural field where Christine Jessup's mutilated body was found in 1984 served only as a starting point. Police now say this 4-decade-old investigation is covering more ground and hearing from more witnesses who all say they had no inkling DNA would eventually point to Calvin Hoover as the killer.
We're learning more about who the people that he spent time with, where he spent time, and we're looking at any unsolved cases that may be out there that Calvin could have been involved in.
Since police named Hoover last week as their sole suspect, investigators say they've heard from more than 50 people who knew him. Family members, old friends, and colleagues, all apparently just as stunned as Christine's father, Bob, who spoke to the Fifth Estate.
He worked for us, so that was the unknown thing at the time, and unbelievable to a degree. as to why he would even do it.
Bob Jessup had worked with Hoover's then wife. That's how the families knew each other. Long since divorced, Heather Hoover says she's devastated by the news. In a statement shared exclusively with CBC on behalf of her family, she says, "Our hearts go out to the Jessup family. We ask for privacy at this time while we all come to terms with this horrendous news that was as shocking to us as it was to the Jessup family." The lead investigator says Hoover's relatives have been very helpful. Still, he's traveling high and low, convinced someone is holding a secret.
There may be someone out there that Calvin talked to and had told these things to, and that person may or may not feel comfortable about coming forward.
Investigators haven't yet found forensic evidence tying Hoover to any other crime, but they can be certain he's not committing any now. Hoover took his own life 5 years ago. Thomas Dagg to CBC News, Toronto.
Welcome back to Here and Now. Time now for our next scary story in Here and Now's The Haunting of series. Tonight, we head to Labrador, where a phantom sled dog driver roams the land. He's known by the name Old Smoker. And if you hear him off in the distance, you better get home quickly.
Old Smoker, I would have to say, probably is one of the most famous ghosts in Labrador. From the stories I heard, it was a real guy who lived around the Reeds Pond, Porcupine Bay area, which is just inside of Black Tickle, Labrador. That's on the south coast. And from what I heard, he didn't live a great life. You know, he was a guy that ran by himself, and he kind of made some moonshine and showed up in places where he shouldn't be going at and causing some trouble here and there. The story goes, you know, after he passed away, his soul remained for all the bad things he was doing here while he was living, condemned to roam the earth as a phantom dog team driver. If a storm was brewing, you would hear like the crack of a whip, or him calling to the dogs, "Old Smoker's coming, we better get home, the storm is going to start soon." People have seen him. There has been stories of him being seen as a white figure in the snow, and with the dog teams being white as well. I thought I heard him one time. I used to go to my friend's house, probably I was around 8 or 9 years old, and in Black Tickle back then, ghost stories were pretty scary. I remember one older gentleman told me one night, I was there pretty late, he said, "You better get home, boy." He said, "Old Smoker's gonna be coming out soon." Sure enough, the wind started whistling, and I remember walking home, and I thought I heard, you know, a crack of a whip, and I said, "It can't be, is that really?" And then I heard it again, and I just started running. I almost tripped up a few times, and I didn't look around. I got home, and I told my father about it, and he said, yeah, he's out there trying to get you home there, Old Smoker was. Later on, you know, I became a songwriter, and I said, well, one day, maybe I'll try to write a song about Old Smoker.
Smoker, he was rarely seen, mostly he was heard. Met the marshes, brooks, and streams before storms did emerge.
As I did, I thought about it. You know, he really kind of helped me, you know, rid my fear of the dark and storms and being out by myself in the nighttime. And Old Smoker was a ghost that he came to scare you, but there was a good reason for it, you know. So I didn't think of him as a ghost that was trying to hurt anybody, but just trying to help people. Watch out sometime if you're in Labrador. If a storm is coming, you might hear the crack of that whip. If you do, time to get home.
Spooky, scary skeleton.
This is why I don't watch scary movies.
So Ashley doesn't, we were talking about this while we were watching, Ashley doesn't like anything scary. Hasn't even seen the Blair Witch Project.
Nope.
Yeah.
And no
one of these
plans.
days.
No plans on seeing them.
And you're not super big on Halloween, I guess.
I guess, but I dress up as fun things, not scary things.
Can you tease your costume real quick, or am I putting you on the spot?
I have no idea.
Ooh, if you have any suggestions about Ashley's costume this year, send her a tweet.
I normally go as partly cloudy with a chance of showers.
Right.
Which is fun.
I'm going to dress up as Anthony Germain.
All right.
All right, so thanks. So stay tuned. So that was part 2. Stay tuned for the final and the third and final installment of the Haunting series, and that's coming up next Thursday. Now, this next story isn't so much creepy as it is strange. A Nova Scotia woman has been selling llama beans at a handful of farmers markets. Now, they're very different from lima beans, green beans, and coffee beans, because you can't eat them. In fact, you want to keep those beans far, far away from your mouth. The CBC's Colleen Jones explains.
Yes, this is a story about poop. No different than cow, sheep, and horse manure. This creamy brown mixture she's rubbing her gloved hands through is high in nutrients for your soil.
I go in every morning, I scoop out the manure, I put it in a bucket, and then it depends. I spell 2 forms. I do the fresh beans that come right out of the llama, and we recommend those for house plants. So they're like a little, I'm sure we could find some if we look close enough, but they're like a little, almost like a jelly bean, and they have very little odor at all. You put them in the house plant, and as they water, they dissolve, and the nutrients seep into the plant, and then the roots uptake it. Show you if I can get this open when I get my gloves on it.
This is Sam's second llama product, more like peat moss, cleaned with a blueberry picker. Then she adds her secret sauce.
There's a certain amount of water that I mix in with it, and I let it break down for a certain amount of time. And
But you have a secret recipe.
I do have a secret amount of recipe that's all eco-friendly and nothing scary in it, but it's just kind of what I do to get it this texture.
She started selling her llama beans at the Truro Farmers Market, and while she's had to educate the cow and sheep manure fans on the value of llama manure, she's now in 3 other farmers markets. It's not just the llama droppings market she hopes to corner. She's learning how to spin. As the local fiber industry grows, llama wool, like alpaca, is hot.
I love it. Hi. I love it. Everyone thinks that it's crazy and it takes a lot of work, but if you really love what you're doing, it's never really work.
Well, come on, who wouldn't love these guys and the strange noises and lovable faces they make? If llama beans are a hit, that's just an added bonus for the woman who clearly loves her llamas. Colleen Jones, CBC News, Upper Musquodoboit.
Don't want to get too close to those.
No.
That was stupid. Why
I'd
did I
like
do
to
that?
get some llama beans actually for my houseplants.
Well,
That's
there
a
you
great
go.
idea.
Wonderful.
You can
Thanks
have
for
them.
watching, everyone. Good night.
Good night.